Doctors Without Borders is a nonprofit organization that was founded on December 22nd, 1971, with 300 volunteers, including the 13 founding doctors and journalists. Doctors Without Borders was created on the belief that all people have the right to medical care, regardless of gender, race, religion, creed, or political affiliation, and that the needs of these people outweigh respect for national boundaries. Because of their belief that all people have the right to medical care, the mission of this organization is to alleviate suffering, protect life and health, and to restore respect for human beings and their fundamental human rights. There are a total of 6 different principles that Doctors Without Borders abides by. The first principle is medical ethics, which is the duty to provide care without causing harm to individuals or groups. They are also committed to safeguarding patients' rights to autonomy, confidentiality, and informed consent. They respect the dignity of their patients, which includes respect for their cultural and religious beliefs. The second principle is independent, impartial, and neutral. Their commitment ensures that they are able to help people most in need rather than following priorities. The third principle Doctors Without Borders abides by is bearing witness. When their teams witness extreme acts of violence against individuals or groups, or when access to life-saving medical care is hindered, they may speak out publicly against it. Their decision to do this is guided by their mission to alleviate suffering, protect life and health, and to restore respect for human beings and their fundamental human rights. The fourth principle is accountability. Doctors Without Borders claims that accountability is at the core of their identity as an organization. They hold themselves accountable to save the lives of those threatened by violence, disease, malnutrition, exclusion from healthcare, and catastrophic events. They also hold themselves accountable to reflect on their impact with the goal of finding ways to improve the scope and quality of the care that they are able to provide. Doctors Without Borders holds themselves accountable to the patients they treat, all the doctors, nurses, and logisticians who make up the teams, and to the people who support them. They also hold their staff members accountable to behave responsibly and respectfully in adhering to their behavioral commitments. Ross and Southgate, 2017, note the importance of global social accountability, which Doctors Without Borders exemplifies through all of their staff members and assignments. The fifth principle is behavioral commitments, which are guidelines for how their staff members are supposed to act and behave. There are 5 total commitments that each and every staff member adheres to. Staff members must behave respectfully and not discriminate against others. Staff members must not abuse anyone physically or psychologically. Staff members shall not accept behavior that exploits the vulnerability of others. Staff members shall not accept child abuse, exploitation, and violence, and shall not engage in sexual relations with children. And finally, staff members shall not take advantage of their position for personal gain. The sixth and final principle Doctors Without Borders abides by is charter. It is their mission to provide life-saving medical care to those in most need. Staff members also agree to the following principles when they decide to fulfill the mission of this organization. Provide assistance to populations in distress, to victims of natural or man-made disasters, and to victims of armed conflict. Observe neutrality and impartiality in the name of universal medical ethics and the right to humanitarian assistance. Respect their professional code of ethics and to maintain complete independence from all political, economic, or religious powers, and understand the risks and dangers of the assignments that make no claim for themselves or their assigned for any form of compensation. A great example of how Doctors Without Borders implemented servant leadership is in Syria. After war raged on, millions of people were left in desperate need of medical and humanitarian assistance. While in Syria, Doctors Without Borders conducted evaluations to determine the medical needs and what assistance to provide the people. Where access was granted for the organization, they ran and supported hospitals and healthcare centers and provided healthcare in displacement camps. Where they had no direct presence, the organization maintained distant support consisting of donations of medicines, medical equipment, and relief items, provided training of medical staff, provided technical, medical advice, and financial assistance to cover facilities' running costs. This shows that in both times where they had direct and indirect help, they were doing everything they possibly could in order to help those in most need. Rice and Deduce, 2017, mentioned that the decision to bear witness to a respective principles responds to and reaffirms our commitment to those individuals that motivate us, and this is our only reason to exist. In my opinion, the most important principles of servant leadership that I would implement into my own organization are accountability, serving others, honesty and transparency, and integrity. Accountability is highly important, and as a strength and conditioning coach, we have to hold ourselves accountable as well as our athletes. Holding each other accountable can build a strong community because everyone is doing their part and everyone is able to rely on one another and hold each other to specific standards. Serving others in this profession is extremely important because our job is to serve the athletes that are under our care. We are also there to serve each other on the staff by being a resource and an asset for everyone to utilize. We help each other out, not for our own interests or gains, but rather to help one another grow professionally and personally. Being honest and transparent is invaluable. It is my expectation that my athletes be completely honest and transparent with me as I am to them. This builds trust with one another because you are able to take their word for what it is worth and know that they are being truthful to you. This also allows for judgment-free communication where individuals respect others' opinions. Finally, I believe that integrity is pivotal. One should hold themselves to a high standard, be an example for their own principles and beliefs, and do the right thing. Having integrity can also build trust because others know that you are going to do the right thing and that you hold yourself to a higher standard and exemplify that in your everyday life.